Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing good today. Thanks for tuning into the channel, much appreciated. And today we're going to get back into the bait modification series I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick that I've learned from experimenting with dyes for 30 plus years. And that's how to correctly put the dye on your soft plastic lures, because it's not as simple as what a lot of people think, because the way that you put the dye on has a lot to do with the bait looks as far as how it's applied and the how much it stands out or how much it blends in. And there's a lot of different times that I want dye to stand out, and sometimes I want it to be more subtle. So I'm going to show you guys some really cool tips on how to do that. And before we get started, again, if you guys would like to order any of this stuff through Tackle Warehouse and you'd like to help out Fish the Moment, you could use the Tackle Warehouse Fish the Moment link that I've included in the description here, and Johnny and I get a small portion of those proceeds. So it's a way to help support Fish the Moment and help us keep putting this content out there. If you'd like to do that, much appreciated. Okay, let's get into this, what we're doing here. First of all, most people think when they're thinking about dyes, they just think of the Spike It dye, that type of stuff. There's a lot of different other types of stuff out there that I use. I use 3 different types of dye as far as applicators, and I've just gone to chartreuse today because it's a common color. I use the straight dipping dye, I use the spray dye, and I use the marking pins. And each one of these has a specific application for what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of difference here. First of all, I want to show you guys, I'm going to use the Zoom Z-Hog just as an example here. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you apply it differently on these two particular things here. I'm going to start out by just dipping the Z-Hog tail just like most people do, and I'll show you how it looks. Just dip it in there, and that's the look on there. See, it's pretty bright like that when it comes in like that. Okay, now we're going to show you that. Now next I'm going to show you the same application when you use the spray dye, what it looks like, and with the marking pins. So we're going to go with the spray dye here, same application. Like that. Now here's the deal. I'm going to show you guys the difference as far as the spray dye and the dipping dye. Same thing. Look at the difference here on the two. Notice how much brighter when you dip it in, how it looks versus when you spray it on like that. So this is really critical right here, because sometimes I don't want the dye to really overpower the bait, for example. Sometimes I do. If I'm fishing stained water, say if I'm fishing water visibility that's like 1.5 feet deep, it's pretty dark like water, and I still want to use a natural tone like a green pumpkin or watermelon, sometimes that's when I go to the dip and dye, because I want that bright chartreuse to stand out in that dirty water. But say for example I'm fishing that water visibility that's sort of in that 2 to 3 foot range, and I want some type of color to stand out beyond just the green pumpkin. That's when I'll spray it and get more of a subtle looking chartreuse on there. Water's a little bit clear. I don't really want that overpowering bright look. So again, you can see the differences on the two. Now, say for example, I'm fishing a situation like clear water, clearer than 3 foot visibility, that type of thing. And I'm still using the green pumpkins and the watermelons. But say for example, it's cloudy, or it's early in the morning, or it's maybe raining. I still want a little bit of color to my bait, but this is when I use the pins on there. So what I do on the pins, and I'll mark it here real quick, is I'm just putting a little bit of a puff on the very tips of them. You can see like that. So here's the 3 different ways here. I've got 3 different setups. I can get hold of all 3 of them here. I've got the pins right here, I've got the dip and dye here, and I've got the spray right here. Notice the difference in the coloration of them. This is what we're talking about, attention to detail. When we're talking about, getting those extra strikes or maximizing the potential of the bait that you're using, these are the type of tips and modifications that are big secrets and not a lot of people know about. Because, dye application has so much to do with the way that a bait looks on there. And another thing is I use these pins quite a bit, because on pins, you can do so much to it. You can put accent colors all over the bait with it. A lot of times, like on a swim bait or something, I'll take and I'll put a little bit of chartreuse down the side of it. It makes it look really cool. So the pins are a really good tool to have on that. We'll go into more colors as far as different colors of dyes later on, because I use reds, I use green pumpkins, I use oranges, obviously chartreuse, I use black, all this type of stuff. And also I use dye on hard plastic baits. So that's another video we'll do down the road, because there's a lot of stuff you can do with dyes on hard plastic baits that really make it look really cool. So anyway, just a quick tip, guys, just try this again. You know, if you're fishing the heavy stained water, you know, just go with a straight dip. You get a really bright look to it. A little bit more clear water, 2 to 3 foot visibility. What are you doing there? Huh? Did you turn your cartoon off? Yeah. Okay, I'll be right in there. We'll get it fixed here. Okay. So anyway, bright colors right there. Dip it straight. You know, a little bit more stained water. Go with the spray dye. And if you want a real subtle look in the clear water, just go with those marking pins. So I'm going to get back in there and turn Elijah's cartoon back on. And I hope you guys are doing good, and we'll check in later. See you.